Okay guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I posted. Life's been crazy. I did say a long time ago when I did a mail day video that I wanted to show off the entire collection once I had finished it. And that's finally happened. And just share my experiences in general with the hunter gander collection, and maybe some tips for someone else like myself, who was getting into collecting, and what to sort of the do's and don'ts. So before I get started into it, this collection is the first set that I have finished. The first set collection I've done. It's Strike of Neos. Just ignore my dog in the background. Strike of Neos, first edition, or first edition, as close to near mint to mint as I could get. These cards are very hard to find these days, and I'll talk about some of them and a bit more in depth when I get stuck into it. And some of the cards I really struggle to find, and some of them are pretty easy to find. Because when you're collecting, not everything is impossible to find. Some things will just come up pretty quickly when you start searching, and others not so much. And the ones that I couldn't find are cards you wouldn't expect. So I'll get started on. I'm just going to move him 1 second. Come on. Sorry about that. So I'll just get started on a quick tip that I would have for anyone starting to do a collection, and that is to set yourself a goal. That's what I had to do, because when I first started getting into collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards and getting back into the hobby, I was all over the shop. I'd just get this and I'd get a bit of that, and I'd just find cards from different sets, and I was just buying anything that was coming up on Facebook or eBay or whatever that I like the look of. And you sort of just feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're putting a lot of money out, and all of a sudden you just got random cards everywhere. And I just feel like you need to set yourself a goal of, this is what I want to collect, whether it might be all Dark Magicians, or it might be something as small that's all maximum gold rares, something, whatever it is. Just set the goal and stick to it, and once you're done, that collection goal that you've set, it's a lot more rewarding than just aimlessly buying stuff. So pick whatever you like, stick to it, and take your time with it and enjoy it, guys. It doesn't have to be completed in 45 seconds. I spent, I want to say, almost 6 months putting this together. It is quite an expensive set. It's probably market value is around 5,000 for all 96 cards. But whether you get that or not, it just depends on who you put it in front of. But anyway, I've been talking too much. Let's get stuck into it. Excuse me. So, first page. The set is in. Sorry. The set is in numbered order. And I also included the 2 limited edition cards in here, which are Cyber End Dragon and Shrink. So I'm just going to get out some of the more notable cards in the set, and you can sort of gauge for yourself. Beautiful. Let me turn that down a bit. So we'll start with the first card. Now, I got this card, Six Samurai Grandmaster, Secret Rare. A card that I was lucky to come across, actually, when I started this set, because I have not actually seen this come up at all anywhere. I saw one on eBay that was in worse condition. So sorry, I just ate nuts. That was a bad idea. I saw one that came up in worse condition, and it was more than this one. This one I would classify, depends on who you ask in terms of sort of conditions. Everyone grades, it's really just personal, isn't it? This one I'd probably say is more on the VLP 2 near mint side. I mean, you've got a couple of light surface scratches on there, and there's a bit of heavy whitening, not too much on the bottom left there. But other than that, it's a very clean card with no real scratches or scuffing anywhere, and it's quite a subtle secret rare. But it's a beautiful card, and yeah, very lucky to get that. So I got that up and the collection got kickstarted by a buyer that I met through Facebook that had a lot of the first edition cards that he was selling for somebody else. So I was managed to pick up a lot of it in one go, but finishing it proved to be quite difficult. On this page here, I sort of got Spiral Serpents, Frostosaurus, Gene Warped, all these sort of cards. Cyber Dragon Shrink, very easy cards to find if you start collecting the set yourself. Frostosaurus, not so easy, but it's just a beautiful ultimate rare. Absolutely gorgeous. This one is in very good condition. Again, these cards to find in mint are quite hard if they're not graded. But you can just do as good as you can, I suppose. This again, just a bit of edge whitening. Maybe a little ding just there, but other than that, very clean. Frosty. As long as it didn't have too much scuffing or any creases or anything, I was pretty happy. That's a gorgeous looking card. On this page, the hardest card to actually find, which was probably the second last card that I put into the set, was actually the rare version of Spiral Serpent. Not only trying to find it in not a mangled condition, but no one seemed to have just had this for sale. I had to search far and wide, message people on eBay, other sellers, just to see if they could look through their collection of old stuff, just to see if they had the rare. And this card, finally, I was able to find one, which is when like I said before, when you start collecting these things, you don't really think that those ones will be the ones that you struggle to find, but sure enough, won't take them all out because we'll be here forever. Gene Warped Werewolf, that's another one. Move on to the next page. So a few of these ones I won through auctions. I'll probably get out some of the more notable ones and you can have a look through yourself. Obviously you've got your Neos support in this set. Obviously it's the Striker Neos. So you've got your Glowmoss, your Hummingbird, and your Grand Mole, which turn into the fusions that are featured in this set, which we'll see later on. This Hummingbird's a very nice one. Got that for a very nice price. Beautiful card. That was through a Facebook auction Yu-Gi-Oh page, and I was very surprised that I was the only person that bid on it. So I got it for just under a reserve bid, because no one else bid on it. And the buyer was happy to just let go of it for about $40 to $50. I can't quite remember now. Lower than the TCG value, so very happy with that. Obviously, you've got your original 6 Samurai cards. I'm trying to get that ring light out of the way. It's quite hard. Another card that was quite hard to find. So you got your original 6 Samurais. Great Shogun Shien was a part of that big collection that I got with all these sort of commons and rares were mostly able to pick up. This card here was a unicorn. I only saw one listing on eBay for Great Shogun Shien, and it was extremely inflated over the market value. But the market value is hard to go off with cards like this, just because you don't really see sales for them too often. So the market value on it was $105, but I didn't look too much into it because I didn't like to spend forever on sites hunting. But the market value on this, I don't think there has been a sale for this card in a while because you don't see it come up on any of their pages. I'd put out messages and posts saying if anyone knows anyone that has one, or if you have one lying around, please get in contact with me. Nothing. And finally, I was just scrolling through just a singles page on an Australian page, and they had one listed out of nowhere. And I was like, yep, straight away, thank you. So I got this one for $100, actually. So slightly below. Yeah, it's got a couple little dings and marks, but I don't think I'll find much better because I couldn't find anything at all for this card. I don't know why Shogun Shien is so hard to find. It must have been heavily played or it's just tucked away in collections. I didn't think too much this one would be the hard one to find when I first started as well, but Shogun Shien was definitely one of those. You've got your Sages as well. Your Sage of Silence is a beautiful card. I'll just show that off. That is a gorgeous ulti. Move on to the next page. Some of the highlights in here would probably be, this card is probably one of the few LP hard cards, I'd say, in the set. But this one is literally impossible to find sales for, let alone, but in good condition because it is such a heavily played card to this day, and that's Rainbow, Overlord of the Dark World. Dark World still played to this day. That's just a heavy ulti stamp line there that's not damaged. But this one is still, it's got some marks and some scuffing, but I was still very happy with the price and the condition of it. But I didn't even see listings for this on USA eBay pages or anything. This one just does not come up at all, and I think it's because it's still so heavily played and tucked away in a lot of people's decks that you don't really see this card come up at all. And again, another one that I would post heavily for and no one messaged me about or could get any help for me in finding it. Try and make this video around 20 minutes, so bear with me. If you can see, obviously you can see yourself what's in there. Sort of got your other Dark World support in this set here. Nothing too crazy. Fusion Devourer is quite a cheap and easy card to find. Like I said, not everything in here is quite hard to find. Marionette Might is playable, so that one was hard to find in good condition, but not overly hard. Dead Crow Rare is everywhere, but again, if you're looking for a good condition one, first edition, kind of hard to find because Dead Crow is a very playable card to this day. So again, this one not so hard to find. It came up quite easily actually because there's a lot of copy that's going around still. Again, because it is such a played card still to this day in the meta. And it sort of, I'd call it a staple. It techs into anything, really. It's and it can cause some disruption just by sending itself a grab to banish. So Dead Crow was a nice eBay purchase that I managed to pick up. One of my favourite cards. I mean, that is just a beautiful looking ultimate rare. This is why this set is quite expensive, because there is a lot of good stuff in there. The first few pages already has some highlights, some hero stuff. Grandmaster of 6 Samurai is not a cheap card. Can go in excess of 300 Australian dollars. Easily. What else do we have here? Nothing too crazy on the rest of the stuff. This is just the sort of the attribute almost it's like an attribute destruction cards, I'd say. The water, fire, earth, wind, light, and dark. Umbriel Soul being probably the most popular one, just because it's dark. Alien stuff. There's only one card here, Alien Psychic. And then we've got some rituals, Lycanthorpe. Again, all these cards were a part of that big collection that I bought, so I was glad to knock off a lot of the commons and rares and stuff without hunting too long for those. Now, this is probably the highlight page that everyone's really going to want to make sure that I put. I'll change this a bit. I get the ring light out of it. It's going to be quite hard to do, unfortunately. I think I'll just have to keep showing everyone. All right. So again, Q, Trey Lane, Bame Lane, whatever, The Awakened, another card I got part of the collection. Now this card here, I'm sure everyone has heard about this. I'll show the Ultra. I'll show both copies, but just because the Ultra itself is worth at least 250 Australian dollars itself, and a card that's also very hard to find. I actually managed to find it very early on in the collection hunt, but I just could not bring myself at the time to spend $250. This one I would consider pretty much mint. Is the ultra rare. It's a pretty safe collector card in collection, just because it will never get reprinted for. I think they're going with, that is just in beautiful condition. I think they're going with copyright issues for Aeneas, so you won't have problems with it getting reprinted in Starlight or whatever, and prices plummeting for the old ones, because it just won't happen. And as these cards over time, especially this one, comes harder and harder to find, if people want to add it to the collection, they're going to have to pay a premium for whatever's around at the time. So I managed to get the Air Neos through a friend of mine who helped me get the collection going very early on. I'll show the ulti. And he did me a good deal on the ulti just because it can go in excess of, depending on who's buying and at the time and the condition, it can go between 12 and 1,500 Australian dollars. That's Ulti Air Neos. And this one is extremely good condition, just besides that little white dot that my thumb was hiding. It's a very clean card. Absolutely gorgeous card. Again, it's got a pretty heavy Ulti stamp on the back, but the rest of it is very nice, very clean copy. I'd consider that New Mint easily, just because the little white dots on the side, but that could be... New Mint is really a classification of... is close to factory sealed as possible, and, you know, these cards come out damaged and whitening all the time out of the packets, so... Neos, gorgeous one. Again, not super hard to find. It's pretty much always 1 or 2 for sale online or on play. You'll find someone because of the premium price of it. But yeah, it just depends on when you want to fork out in excess of 1,000 plus for one. Is the real issue with this card? Is really the card that gives the set the value that it's got. Just a beautiful card. Probably the best looking hero ulti that I own. I own a few more. I won't show them today. But this Grand Neos, which is the Grand Mole Fusion, is just a beautiful looking ulti. Look at that. Again, this one is in extremely good condition. I was not too picky with some of the cards that I managed to pick up through the set, but I would not pick up any of the hero stuff unless it was absolutely as clean as can be. And these 3 that I have for this set are just in beautiful condition. Also, I have a Destiny Hero Dreadmaster for ERJ, which is the next set I'm collecting, which is also just extremely clean. It's got a bit of whitening on the top, a little bit on the bottom, but other than that, Dreadmaster is a beautiful card, and I'll talk about ERJ a bit more later on. Ancient Rules, ulti there as well. And the last hero ulti I'll show as well. This is the Glownaus. Beautiful. Another one in really nice condition. Beautiful card. You just cannot beat these old... Oh, I'm doing the Team Sam and sniff them. You just cannot beat these old school Ultimate Rare cards. This video is going to go longer than I thought, but I feel like this set needs... This type of collection needs to be shown off. Because I was searching through YouTube, and it's rare that you find anyone with full set collections and showing them off. I feel like every card deserves to be highlighted in these old school sets. So we've got some stuff here. Dark World Dealings ulti as well. Another expensive card just because it's extremely playable to this day as well. And another one that was hard to find in decent condition just because it is so played to this day. So I would classify this one as probably a bit lower than VLP. LP passed to VLP, I'd say. But again, I wasn't too picky. And this one's actually pretty good now, looking at it under really good lighting. I haven't had this light until yesterday. So, yeah, beautiful. Dark World Dealing. Kind of, probably the least impressive looking ulti just because the background is so dark. It doesn't really look... Like, I mean, you can sort of tell, but it doesn't look crazy amount different to the Super. Besides the gold writing, it does look a little different, but it's not very an impressive Ultimate Rare just for the price. So I paid 180 Australian dollars, everything in Australian, for that one. But not an amazingly hard card to find, just because people still hold on to it a lot for Dark World. Dark World's a very popular deck still. Neos Force, Twister, sort of these middle range to low range ultis were hard to find in Australia, but very easy to pick up in American eBay. Which is where I got Neos Force, Twister. I think that's it so far. Just mainly the spells I was having trouble with. As we move on to the next page, Advanced Ritual Art, Emblem of the Awakening, Card Trader ulti. Again, all these cards were picked up through international eBay, just for supply shortages in Australia, couldn't find any. Skyscraper 2, Hero City, Ultimate Rare, rather the original Skyscraper, but anyway. Card Trader's a very nice looking one too. Very nice ulti. Beautiful. Skyscraper 2, Hero City. What else we got here? Again, a lot of it is, a lot of this page is American eBay. Saved me a lot for these. And I'd have to try to find a bargain or someone that would do a good deal just because of the imports and GSTs and everything I've got to pay. Hero Medal, eliminating the league, pretty low end ones. That was from America. That one's pretty easy to find in Australia. Everyone seems to have eliminating the league. That must be like the only ulti that you can get in Australia when it first came out in Australia. Transmigration for obviously another card that I really struggled to find in an ultimate rare. And I had to settle for an LP one in the end just because I just could not see anything that wasn't on American eBay for like $90 by the time I paid everything. I just couldn't justify paying that, because even though I am keeping this for personal collection and my own enjoyment, and if you ever do want to resell, you don't want to invest huge amounts and lose huge amounts of money. You want to be smart about it and be realistic about what you're going to get, because now, if I try to sell the whole collection as a whole, people are going to offer me 70 or 80% of what it's worth, because they're buying a giant chunk at once. So yeah, you've got to be smart about it. And then towards the last page here, we've got Pulling the Rug, Birthright, Cloak and Dagger, Pulling the Rug, another card that's quite easy to find in Australia because it's played in Edison a fair bit. And another card that's got a bit of a premium to it as well. There seems to be a lot of ultis in this card, are a minimum of 110 plus. So Pulling the Rug, a card that, yeah, pretty easy to find in the end. Beautiful. And then we'll go on to the Fairy Secrets, and my goodness me, were these cards hard to track down. So, two of them, not so much. Actually, I'd probably say three of them, not so much, and the rest of them, very much so. So we've got Meltiel, which I almost got scammed on. The scam that the person sent me a message for with this was extremely convincing. They had photos of it, they had a video of it, they had a timestamp, they had references, which at the time I was very sus on the references because it all looked a lot of locked profiles, but it looked like a lot of fake pictures. The thing that undid them is, before I paid for it, I just asked him for a few other cards that were very hard to find, like Shogun Shien, and all of a sudden he was starting to pull out pictures left, right, and centre without timestamps, just to see if he could get a sale. I'm like, mate, you don't have these cards. Please don't contact me anymore. This is clearly a scam. But I ended up finding this one online. Again, had to pay a little bit more over for it than what it's worth, but it's a beautiful looking secret rare. Yeah. Harvest, Angel of Wisdom, not so hard to find. Freya, definitely in first ed. Seems to be a lot of unlimited Freyas going around. First ed, because it all is the first edition set. Yeah, Freya Unlim, no problem. Freya first ed, different story. Got contacted through meeting up people in the community. That's probably another thing I'd say as well, just going sidetrack for a second. When you're getting into collecting, is find communities on Facebook or your locals and start interacting. And eventually you'll meet people that will help you find these things easy. When I first started, quite difficult to put together. After months of searching and meeting people, obviously word of mouth gets around. People started contacting me, and I've had a guy saying, hey, got a Freya Spirit of Victory, probably VLP, not near mint like you want, but I've got it, this is the price, if you're interested. I was like, yeah, mate, that's it. First ed, and that's all we're really after here. Nova Summoner, again, card, it's quite an odd secret. I mean, it doesn't really just show off as like the Grand Master as much as some of them, but I'll show Aegis of Gaia in a second. This is again another, this was a UK eBay purchase. Royal Mail comes very fast. Gallon Duo, playable, so a premium on that card as well. Could be excess of $100, but this is a very expensive set, very expensive. Aegis of Gaia, it's quite an odd secret. So yeah. I mean, you look at it, it doesn't really look like one, does it? It just looks like a little bit of secret on the art of the character itself, but other than that, this is about a $6-7 secret rare, and an extremely easy one to find. If you ask people for Strike of Neos secret rares, everyone seems to have this one. Freya being, actually Nova Summoner probably being the hardest one to find in general, not Unlim or First Ed, just in general. Yeah, these Strike of Neos cards are all quite playable in Edison, so Some of them have just been held in decks, and some of them are just held in collections. So quite a hard set to track down. I've started EOJ, as I said before, and already picking up cards a lot quicker. Going back to the same buyer who I bought the collection of common and rares from mostly. He's going to help me out again and get me sit through all that stuff. So Gallandura is a nice one to show off too. So yeah, might quickly just show off the back pages of this binder as well. This is it's a top load binder by Palms Off Gaming. It's only $40, I think, something like that. It just gives a bit of extra protection to these old school cards. I don't like those floppy pop binders when you turn the pages. Sometimes I feel like they might get bent or creased, so this just keeps it nice and sturdy. That's a bit of ERG spoiler. Obviously, I've got some other stuff sitting at the back here. I might just show off probably my favourite card of all time real quick before we finish up this 26-minute video. And that's a PSV Jinzo. First ed. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful secret rare. Oh. I think that's pretty much it, guys. If you've got any questions or anything, please, I'm going to make an Instagram soon with my Yu-Gi-Oh collection and show off the cards a bit more in the future. I think there's sort of some of these cards deserve to be displayed and shown off a bit more than just sitting in my binder, or for me to enjoy. I want to share it with everyone. Just one more card I'll just quickly show off. That's one of my favourites also. It's an oldie Thunder Dragon Colossus. It's beautiful. But yeah, I'll start an Instagram soon. Start posting, one card a week from my sets and collections. I've got a lots coming, and just sort of discuss a bit more about collecting and whatnot. It's quite a good hobby of mine. Obviously, money is not unlimited for me. I've got lots of bills like everybody else, so I can't just go buying as much as I wish I could. Everything and all the cards that I see online, anything and everything is what I was looking for. This beautiful card too. But even though I wish I could, I will discuss what I have and continue to engage the community, because that is probably my favourite part of collecting, is the people who share the same enjoyment and excitement I do as putting together impressive collections. Sorry if I'm slurring my words, I've had a bit to drink. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Full Strike of Neos, first edition set. But yeah, I thought I'd just show it off to everybody. Yeah, because you don't really see that too often. So yeah, if there's any questions, obviously none of this is for sale unless you want to offer me 3 times what they're worth. Don't do that. But yeah, there'll be more videos to come once I get EOJ going. That, again, wouldn't expect that to be finished for another 6 months or so. I don't want to set collections goals and sets that I want to, set collection goals for sets that I want to, have full. I'm just going in circles here. You get what I'm trying to say. I don't want to have just a million different cards coming in all at once, just because I forget what I've bought and sometimes buy doubles of, and B, it just ends up costing too much. So as you can see, like, AOJ is very bare bones at the moment. There's Prima. There's really not that much. There's an Oka Holty, Wild Wingman Holties in there, and then the Supers. But yeah, we'll pick it up a bit more. I've got a fair bit coming, and yeah, that'll be it, guys. Thank you so much for the 29-minute video, and hopefully you didn't skip too much of me blabbering on about Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, enjoy.